Hey guys, it's Miss Taylor
And Miss Trian.
and we are the character education team. Today we are bringing you a video on conflict resolution. Now conflict resolution is a big word. We may not know what that means, so an easy way to tie those together with something you may already be familiar with is the debug system. And if you're not familiar with the debug system, don't worry because we're going to go through those steps as well.
Absolutely. So conflict, like what is that? You know, conflict resolution sounds like something that's so heavy. But all we're really talking about is when something comes up with a friend, a problem that you need to solve, an argument that you might have had, a difference of opinion, or a different idea, if you want to call it that, to something as simple as I'm sitting on the carpet next to somebody and they're making noises that are distracting me from my learning, right? So today what we're going to do is we're going to give you 5 steps, and that's called the debug system, to walk you through some different levels of things that you can do when something is happening that's bothering you. Very basic, super easy to remember, okay?
Okay, so the first step, if you have a conflict, so let's just put out a simple one. So let's say Miss T is sitting there at carpet time and she's just doing this to me. Poke, poke, poke. So the first thing we want to try is to, let's see if that'll work. It says ignore. I don't know if you can see it very well because of our light, but it says ignore. So the first thing Miss T should do is just stay what she's doing. Just stay with the plan, keep it moving.
It might be something that you let the teacher take care of.
And hopefully, in a perfect world, I'm going to do this, and she's just going to be like, just doing her own thing, and I'm just going to be like, oh, she's not paying attention to me, so I'm either going to do my own thing or go somewhere else.
So the other thing that you can do for ignore is you literally can move your body. And that's step 2 is move away. Now, if you're on the carpet or if you have assigned seats, you can't always move away. So you literally can just kind of move your shoulders, right? Because it's that body language that we've talked about in other lessons saying, I'm not okay with that. I don't want to take part in it or participate, right? So if somebody is bothering you on the carpet with the pokesies, you've tried to ignore it and you're kind of shifting in your seat. I felt that before. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just kind of turn my body and try to move away as best I can without distracting other people that are in the class.
And a little thing I want to put in before we get on to the rest of the steps is, and we'll talk about this later in the video, is you may have to bounce around on these ideas. So if I'm physically touching her, ignoring, she may just go straight to moving away because she's like, I can't ignore this. Like, she's physically touching me and physically in my personal space. So ignoring may not be an option. So that's just something to kind of get your gears thinking a little bit during these steps.
So our first thing was to ignore. Second was to move away.
Move away.
The third thing that we're going to try to do is to talk friendly or talk in a friendly voice. So I may say to Miss Taylor, I don't like that. I might whisper. Use that
Gentle voice.
Gentle, yeah. Shy is not a great word. For a gentle voice where I'm saying, I don't like that. Would you please stop, right? You have to make sure that you're adding in that direction. Please stop. And that's okay to do.
What I've noticed a lot of people do, they kind of say it like as a joke, like with the joking, like, hey, come on, stop, please. You're still saying please. You're still using that direction word, but you don't want to have any ill feelings yet. You don't want to like make her feel like you're, trying to push her away, but you just want to keep it light. You're like, Miss T, like, come on, stop, please. Like, I'm trying to do my work. It's just very light. So after you talk friendly, so you've tried to ignore them or can't ignore them because it's something physical in your space. You've determined either you have moved away and they followed you. So if I was at recess poking her by the slide, she tried to go to the swings, I just kept following her. Or you're in a situation at school or at home where you can't physically move. So lunch, the bus, circle time, table time are pretty good examples of something like you can't just move. So you've determined either 1, I have moved and she followed, or number 2, I can't move.
Can't get away from it. So then you go into talking friendly. So you want to make sure that you share that please stop, right? Whatever it is, or please don't follow me, or whatever it is to the thing that's bothering you.
So we've said it, like I said, in a joking manner, or we've just was very lightly about it. So then is talk firmly. So what is important about talking firmly is the things that kind of go around talking firmly. So what she would say to me is very straight. She'd be like, hey, I asked you nicely. I've tried to move away from you. I've tried to ignore you, and you're not stopping. So if you please don't stop, I'm going to have to get an adult. And sometimes you have to say that, and that's, if she said that to me, I'd be like, a teacher, like an adult? Oh, I don't, Or if you're a good friend, they're just like, oh, I didn't know it meant so much to you. So talking firmly has some rules. So with talking firmly, you don't get to say bad words. There's no physical touch of like, hey, like you need to stop. And there's just no...
Do I need to raise my voice?
Yes. And there's no.
Do I need to yell?
Just the strong voice. And we'll talk about a little later on how to practice that strong voice.
And then our last step is just to get an adult. We're definitely to a point where I have spoken friendly and I've said, please stop. I don't like that. Or I've spoken firmly and I've said, please stop. Still poking me on the carpet, still following me on the playground, still pushing me out of the way. And you might have to go get an adult. Now, what would be great is the more and more that you practice, ignore, move away, talk friendly, talk firmly, there are situations that you will probably not need to get an adult. Because, you're to the point where you are going to understand how you can solve some of these problems on your own. And it makes you feel so good to be able to problem solve on your own.
So the whole point, and we probably could have talked about this at the beginning, but like the definition, the reason behind the debugging system is to take care of ourselves. How can we put these different steps in place so we don't have to go get an adult right away? So we're not doing a lot of that tattletaling. So
the difference between tattling and telling, you're so good at this.
Exactly. So in the perfect situation, you're going to ignore someone and they're going to leave you alone. Or you're going to move away and they're going to leave you alone. Worst case scenario is when you get that adult. So what's important about tattling and telling. So when you're tattling on someone, and you may not even know you're doing it on purpose, but when you're tattling on someone, you're just trying to get someone's attention. Or you're trying to get them in trouble. Or you're just trying to cause a scene. And you may not be doing it on purpose, because a lot of us don't know the difference between tattling and telling. But it's, if she's just poking me and I'm like, Miss Teacher, she's just bugging me and I don't know what to do and I just want her to stop. Did we need that?
Definitely
No.
tattling.
Did the whole class need to hear that? No. When I could have used these steps. Now, telling is when you have that feeling. And some of you may remember, I've always talked about in the last few years, that belly brain. So, I always tell you it's a secret that there's a belly in your brain. I'm convinced there's a belly in your brain. So, because whenever you feel something that is uncomfortable, your belly knows first. The brain up here tries to make a reason for it. Oh, well, she was just joking. Or, no, just forget about it. But this belly, this brain knows. It's like, wait, that made me uncomfortable.
That did not feel good, and I need to do something about it.
Something happened. So if that brain ever turns on in your belly where you're like, it's kind of like butterflies, but like bad butterflies. You're like, oh, I don't know, it's just not making me feel good. That's when you go get an adult right away. That's when you tell on someone. So tattling is when you're just trying to get someone in trouble, make a scene.
Might not be very important.
You could take care of it by yourself. Telling is when you don't feel comfortable and you don't want to take care of it by yourself and you need a trusted adult.
Good. So the other thing that we always talk about is like, what is that difference between a friendly voice and a firm voice? Again, we kind of already touched on firm voice does not mean that you yell. We don't use names. We don't use bad words, right? So how do you describe the difference between friendly and firm?
So my fun way to do this is just pick a funny word, like taco. Okay, so taco. So everybody put their hands on their belly and just say taco normal. Taco.
Taco. Taco Tuesday.
Taco. Now say taco in your nice voice, like kind of the voice you say, like maybe if you want to get something or you're trying to like show people, you're like, oh, taco.
Taco.
You see how your belly kind of loosened up a little bit? You're like, taco, Mom.
This is going to make me hungry. That's okay.
Now we're going to practice our firm voice. Ready? So elbows out. say taco.
Taco.
You see how, did you feel that,
Ooh,
Misty?
my tummy like tightened up.
Do you feel that? Taco. Now, did I have to say a bad word with that?
No,
Did
and not very loud either.
No. Did I have to put my hands on you to say taco in a firm voice?
Not at all.
No. But you can feel it. And you can almost feel it in your heart too. It's just like you mean it and you want to make sure that that person knows. So that is a good way to practice your firm voice. Just pick a silly word, hands on your belly, and say it in those 3 different ways. Just your regular, I'm talking my friend's voice, my friendly voice, like, come on, you know, and your belly kind of gets a little more squishy then. You're just like, just trying to have fun, and then your firm voice will tighten up.
Very good. Okay, so we end the lessons with a character check, and we want to make sure that you are understanding that difference and that it's okay for you to use a firm voice. So this week what we want you to do is we want you to practice that firm voice, and you can use that silly word, you can use taco, right? And practice it in the mirror so that you really know how that feels. This is also going to give you the chance to pay attention to your own facial expressions and body language.
All right.
The other thing that we want you to do is, as a class, so this would be a great activity as a class. At the beginning of the year, a lot of classrooms will make some ground rules. You know, we are excited to learn. We encourage each other and things like that. So if there isn't something already in your room about when a conflict comes up, this is how we handle it, then it'd be a great time for you in your class to figure out a way to come up with something like that to put in your class. But I bet if you look around and talk to your teacher, you guys have something already. Okay? And then Taylor's going to explain an activity that you guys can do together as a class as well.
Okay, so this game is called Hot Seat. There's different versions of Hot Seat. So typically where you'll see Hot Seat, and I do believe we play Hot Seat with peer pressure and friendship. And in that one, we are trying to practice like our serious face. But with this one, it's a little different because we talk about with all of these steps, look, there's so many steps. We're not always going to start in the same spot. You know, sometimes we're going to ignore, we're going to ignore, and move away. And we may go straight to our friendly voice, or we may go straight to the firm voice, or we could even go straight to an adult when we feel like we need to tell on someone for safety reasons. So you're going to get one chair, and you're going to pick someone to be in the hot seat. So they're going to sit in the hot seat, and then your class is going to line up, and you're going to give them a problem. So you may just say, okay, if Miss T is in the hot seat, and I'm up, and I go, I'm just poking you. What step would you use if I'm just poking you?
So if I had all my steps in my hand, I need my ignore here. Hold on one second. So if I had all my steps in my hand, I can look at that situation and I can say, okay, well, I am going to try to move away, right? This would be the first thing I would go to.
Because it's in her physical space.
Can't ignore
So
it.
she may not want to ignore it because it's in her physical space. So then the next person, so let's pretend I'm a new person. And the next person's like, I kicked you at recess.
Kicked me at recess. I feel like at that point, I'm going to talk firmly. Do I need to get an adult for help? I might
That's
need
your
to
choice.
after I talk firmly, but I want to be an upstander. I want to stand up for myself and my friends first. So in my firm voice, I'm going to say, please stop. Please don't touch me, right? And then, you know, sometimes the steps move around. So I've said, please don't touch me, and then I move away.
Yep, so this hot seat game, and make sure we're using appropriate situations, and but it's to get your mind thinking, to kind of start that fast thinking. Like, so when a conflict starts and a conflict happens right away, you know, okay, I'm either moving away, what am I doing? You know, you want to have all this stuff. So we never get to the part where people's feelings are hurt. We want to skip all that because that's no fun for anyone. Because my feelings are hurt. She knows she hurt my feelings. She's not good. I'm not good. The teacher's not good because now she's involved. We're just trying to sweep all that and
These
start
steps
fresh.
will help you take care of that. So again, our first step, when you have a situation that's not making you feel great and you know that you need to resolve some sort of problem, that first step would be to ignore it, okay? Your second step is going to be to move away from the situation. Your third one is going to be to talk friendly, saying, please stop. And then your next one, talk firmly. where you get that deeper voice, where your stomach really starts to get strong, please stop. And then you may need to get someone for help, but by the time you get these other 4 down, you're not even going to need to get an adult for help in most situations.
In most situations. But what's also important is to remember that there's no problem getting an adult if it is a serious situation with telling. You know, we don't ever want you guys to feel like you can't go talk to a teacher about your problems, or you can't, you know, but it's just trying to take initiative and, you know, resolve that conflict, you know, within yourself. And then you can go, maybe, and there's no problem like saying, hey teacher, like, I just solved this problem. Like, I use my debugging steps. Like, and she may be like, oh, that's so cool. Good job. Or she may have some better ideas for next time. Like, you know, I'm so glad you did that. Next time, try this. You know, so.
And we do have some book readings that we do online on the Character Ed page for you guys, but a couple books that might work to help with conflict resolution. This is just a couple. One of them is Pink Tiara Cookies for 3.
And You're Mean, Lily Jean.
I love that book.
It's a good one.
All right, thank you guys so much for joining us with Character Ed. We hope that you remember to do that character check this week and that activity within your class, and use that debug system. Super easy to remember, and we'll see you next time. Bye.